It is back, ladies and gentlemen. Make some noise, and please welcome your host and moderator here at Build, Lee Blickley, and today's guests, Hayden, Panettierre, and Charles Esten.
Welcome, you're here. Welcome to Build. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you. Hello,
all
everybody.
your fans. Wow, that was a deep, heavy clip we just saw there.
We were back. I was getting choked up at
Right?
the curtain back there.
Did anyone else
Some
get
fine
the
acting
chills
by my
while
friend.
watching that? And how many of you are so excited that Nashville is back? I know we have some huge fans. Look at this.
All thanks to you guys. Thank you for re-employing us.
Let's kind of go back to that, the cancellation and the fans' reaction and how that felt for you guys to see all these people come out and support the show and beg for it to come back.
Well, for me, I've never had a show that lasted 4 seasons. So, and I've been doing this a long time. So my first emotion was gratitude for what we'd had before and the things we'd gotten to do on the show Nashville. But I didn't feel like we were done at all. And then immediately, I mean, literally immediately, the second it came up on the internet, they started forming petitions and hashtags, and they got to show the love that they've shared with us on social media for all 4 years of this show. And that they get to share live at concerts whenever we're out and playing. They shared right there in a very organized and dedicated way, and they are literally, CMT will tell you, they're literally why we're back. So this season's for you, that's for sure.
I mean, we never get to see that kind of stuff, and that's what's so powerful about what y'all did is that we get to stand in front of a camera and memorize our lines and do our jobs, and we hope and pray that you guys like it, but we never actually get to feel that energy until you guys brought us back from the dead.
Yeah, I mean,
we felt it.
This was cliffhanger was in the show and about the show, and we thought we were done, but it didn't feel like we were finished, and so to get this other chance, we knew what we had was special, but those days back when we all first saw each other on the set, and it was like, here we are, let's go make some more of this. And plus, we're on a new network and with new showrunners, so that means that it's not like some just tacked on added season. It's something real special about it. You can see already in these scenes, there's something real filmic that we started out with on Nashville. I think we're getting back to, and I love it.
Well, you don't take it for granted. I think after 4 years, it's 10 months out of the year that we film, and when it just reignited us and brought us back together, and we just put that much more effort and energy and love into into our performances.
Because it's pretty amazing. I'm a huge Nashville fan, and after that final episode, I was like, how can they end on this? They can't do this to us. There's so much left open. And Hayden, backstage, you were saying the last show you were on also did something like that.
This would have been the second show. I mean, the last show I did, Heroes, the last thing you saw was me throwing myself off of a Ferris wheel. And the fans were upset with me. They were like, well, how could you do that?
I sort of held that against you, too.
I was like, of course you did.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, so you'd been there, but...
this is so seldom that we get to do this.
I know. It's what's so special about it is we loved it already, but to lose it and to get it back, and that's also the city. We are all in Nashville now. I didn't put my house up for sale. Did you put your house up for sale? No, we're all Nashvillians now, so I didn't hear anybody that did. So when we finally got to stay, and the other thing is that other people we love that we don't get to talk about enough is the crew. That is a very Nashville, Tennessee-based crew, and they're our family now. And so to get to see the smile on their faces when we got to go back, and they know they get to do more of this thing that they love, and that we get to do it with them. They're the best crew in the world. They make our days so much easier than they need to be because they're just so daggone good. So it was great for them too.
You could see the tears in their eyes, honestly, and feel their energy. It was nothing like I've ever felt I've done this for probably as long as you. Yeah. 26 years, how long have you been?
I've done about 26 years. The difference is how old we were when we started.
Well, the power of social media. Social media is good for this kind of stuff. I mean, those fans, you guys just saved a lot of jobs, a lot of happiness, and I love that the whole team's back.
I have 2 kids in college and a mortgage, so once again, thank you.
And so
I've got a 2-year-old. She's going to go to college.
She's
Eventually.
gonna go.
She got me.
So you guys have your families in Nashville, right? You guys live there permanently. Yeah. What's it like being in Nashville? And now that you're back, and you know this has reignited some sort of passion, I'm sure, about the show and being a part of it. What's it like being in the city and staying there? And how does the show kind of relate to the actual Nashville that some of us have been to and some of us haven't? But
I'm reminded of that commercial a long time ago where it says you're soaking in it. You remember? I don't know if you remember that. I'm kind of old, but it was you're soaking in it. We are soaking in that city, and we've said it again and again that the city isn't just the set for the show. It's a character in the show. The whole show is a love letter to Nashville, and that's true on a personal level too. Each one of us has found our friends there and found our family fits in there very well. I have 3 kids that were in junior high and high school, and after the first season, you don't move your family the first season of any TV show, but in that second season, we knew as a family we had to be together, and I knew how great Nashville was, but I have to admit I was a little hesitant. I was uprooting them and bringing them away from the home they knew in Los Angeles, but Nashville, like it always does, came through, and each one of them right now, they call Nashville their home, and they feel like they're meant to be there as much as I ever was, and that city comes alongside of us, and that includes the artists in country music. They're all so kind. I mean, to a person, they have opened their arms to us. In the very beginning, I should say, they said, a lot of them said, don't make us look stupid. They were always saying that. They were nervous because they'd been shown before and maybe not in the best light, or maybe, and so they'd say, don't make us look stupid. They saw the show, they realized we were not making them look stupid. And not soon after that, very soon after that, they started saying, all right, now don't make us look so good, because they don't want so many people moving there. But that city was already booming, and we just caught the wave.
Oh yeah, the traffic is. Woo! I live in Green Hills, and the traffic now.
You have some Nashville neighbors.
I feel the
too,
love,
right?
though.
Who are your Nashville neighbors from the show? You were pretty close to.
Oh, my next door neighbors are Lennon and Maisie Stella. Moved right on in next door, and I mean literally next
Complete
door.
coincidence too, right? I mean, they're
I have
not
to ask them
stalking
about
you
their
as a
dogs
family.
once in a while. I'm like,
You gotta
leave
call
the
them
dogs outside.
She pulls a Juliet Barnes and she needs those dogs to.
get out. Kick the dogs out. Do people approach you kind of on the street and say that you're Deacon Claiborne or Juliet Barnes and forget that you're actually not these country stars in real life?
It depends on the street. I mean, sometimes it's been nice here in New York. A couple people. I'm not always sure in the big city here if they're watching Nashville, but they sure are. I mean, I stood under my billboard for 45 minutes, and it took like.
That's the truth. I wasn't going to bring it up. But that's the honest truth.
That is not.
They couldn't. They were like, "Where's Chip?" This other show we were doing this morning, and I said, "Check his Twitter feed. He's probably standing under one of the billboards."
You've had him before, all right? That's my first. No, but honestly, where they call me Deacon, they call me Deacon after 1 a.m. on Broadway in Nashville, right down on
What
that
are you
Broadway.
doing at 1 a.m. on Broadway?
I'm honky tonking.
Oh, the truth comes out.
Because when you guys go to these country music award shows and things, you know, towards the beginning of the first season or second season, I'd be like, these people have to be a little bit confused because it's like, there's Deacon Claiborne and Juliet Barnes with the top hit on the charts. Oh, actually, you're not them.
You know, I felt like that was a really tough thing in the first season for me. Was people expected me to be just like Juliet. I would meet people and they would go, "Oh my gosh, you're actually not a." You know
I spent
what?
a lot of time telling people you weren't. I'm like, she's not exactly like. There's aspects, but she's very, very different. She's amazing, and so is Juliet, though. So, I mean, Juliet could not be Juliet without Hayden playing her. That's for sure. Nobody else could do that.
And what a character to take. Juliet Barnes is one of the strongest female characters we have on TV right now, especially when that character first graced the screen. You and Connie Britton, what a duo. What has it been like for you to embrace Juliet and all that she has to deal with on the show? They really given you some storylines to sink your teeth into.
They've put me through the ringer. It's been really empowering as a woman. You know, I say she's kind of like a phoenix. Like she crashes and burns hard, and then she rises from the ashes, and she is so resilient. And that's one of the things that I love the most about her, is she always chooses to take the lesson and to become stronger because of it. And she doesn't seem to make the same mistake twice, but she seems to find every mistake she can make.
Yeah, my character concentrates on 2 or 3 mistakes and keeps making them. She goes all over the place. But there's a lot that I always thought that Deacon and Juliet have in common. A lot of things happened early on when they were young that shaped them and formed them. I mean, they're very different in so many ways. But yeah, well, you're talking early episodes. That's a whole different ball game. There was a lot of that's what, man, I tell you what, walking into the show and having these 2 amazing, like you said, there's some of the strongest female characters on television. There's Connie Britton, there's Hayden Panettierre, and I'm the piece of rope getting the tug of war in the middle there.
He's been saying this since the first season.
That was just happening.
People love you now.
Well, things are better now. It was amazing right then, though, to walk in and just see you guys going at it, and I love the relationship between you two. The Juliet Reina relationship is really many faceted, and it never leaves completely what it was. There's always a touch of that, but then they're there for each other. But then they also know each other, and it's really, really cool.
Oh, I think Juliet has such a underlying respect for Reina, and she just refuses to show it. She really does. And she just wants so much to seek her approval. She seeks her approval, and you just don't see that. She shows it in such a horrible, malicious way sometimes. She just doesn't know how to show that love because she was never shown how to love in that way. But she's got a heart down there, and that's what I love about playing her, is that she has such extremes. And I don't think she could exist without it. And that's what makes her so human and so fun to play. I love playing bad, but I love playing those moments of good, too.
Great way to describe it. And I love watching Juliet with Avery. Who doesn't? Because I'm so happy. I'm so happy you guys are
Jonathan Jackson is just
Absolutely
incredible. He's such a force of nature. He makes me have to step up to the plate and improve my game because, I mean, the man could pull a tear at the drop of a hat. It's unbelievable. And
it's all legit. It's all part of who he is, too. He's a very, very deep, soulful guy with all kinds of goodness and kindness. And he's very interesting, and he has a band where he can rock melt your face with that band, and then he can be so tender and gentle in these scenes. He's a good person to have as a friend, too. I can say that.
Oh, he's the best kind of co-star. The best. So giving emotionally. You know, you'd be surprised how many actors, when the camera switches around and it's not on them, they go to sleep. They're like,
why did you look at me?
No reason.
I don't go to sleep. I'm unfortunately...
No, my acting is fabulous. How's yours? My acting is better.
I'm a much better actor when the camera's on the other person. I suddenly...
Me too, absolutely.
You should have seen me when the camera wasn't on me.
You want to pull everything out of your co-star that you can.
Exactly.
And you're like, dang, couldn't you just like hide a camera over there? Did anyone get that? Did anyone see that?
By the way, not a lot of people know, some know, but Jonathan Jackson has, I think, 5 daytime Emmys.
Yep. He was lucky on General Hospital, guys.
That blows my mind.
That's where I fell in love with him.
The most humble.
Never know it. He'd never tell you.
No. I think I actually said that to him the other day. I was like, you have 5 Emmys? And he was like...
Yeah, that would become my middle name. I'd be, hi, I'm Charles 5 Emmys. Esten, nice to meet you.
And that is the truth.
It's so good. I mean, the whole cast is rock solid. I mean, Connie Britton, too, working with her in scenes. What a scene partner she must be. And we all know her, too, as Mrs. Coach Taylor, of course. So when she came and played Reina, it was just a totally different character.
She's
with a little
Mrs.
bit
Deacon Claiborne right about now.
Yeah. Woohoo!
Finally. Finally took you long enough.
Well, yeah, I'm a little slow on the uptake.
So what can we expect from Deacon and Reina's relationship? There's been so many ups and downs, but I feel like they're at a good place right now.
You know what? Everybody's been saying for a long time that they deserve a little time in the sun because it's been up and down and sideways and every other thing. I'm not much for spoilers, but let me say that they get a little time in the sun and they get to be a husband and a wife and they get to support each other.
In the sun or in the bed? Or both?
In the sunbed.
In the sunbed.
No,
perfect.
In both. That's the thing is somebody was saying there's a lot of, you can see the underlying affection now, perhaps more than ever. And I think one of the reasons that is because it's safer. All their fights before were kind of existential. Will they survive this argument? Will they survive this discussion? Will they survive this event? There's something about that marriage when they say for better or worse. And yeah, we're both here. We're not going anywhere. I remember the first time when I was married, I went, oh, wait a second, we're married. This fight doesn't really matter, and tomorrow we're going to just be fine. And there's something to that as well, where it's just Deacon and Raina finally get to relax into that love a little bit, and it's nice.
And you guys have great chemistry. Let me say, I've seen the first 2 episodes, and let me tell you, guys have fire between you and the sheets.
Took the words out of my mouth.
And let's talk a little bit about Juliet's journey. What's going to happen this season, at least, the plane crash. We do know she survives, and we're so happy that you're on the show.
I'm alive.
But what can you see for Juliet's journey this season? And are things going to change in the way of, her career and her life and how she views things?
It's really hard it's really hard to give you guys the answer that you want without giving it all away. Yeah. But I will say, obviously, you see that she goes through this accident, but it opens a door for her, and she goes down a path that you would never expect her to go down. She explores a part of herself that is so un-Juliet, but so powerful and so deep. I think you guys are going to be really surprised, really excited. I think you're going to like it. I hope you're going to like it.
Oh, they're going to love it.
Hope you're going to love it.
I hope you're going to like it and love it.
Like it and love it.
And what can we expect from some of the other, not everybody's back from the full cast, but most of you are. And of course, we have Scarlett and Gunnar. What's going to happen with them? Can you give us any tidbits?
We're like, BS, 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 me. BS, 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 me. BS.
She'll fast forward right through my scenes.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I think if they were both here, they would say that they're continuing. It's hard to say because I don't want to give away the story, but I know
it's
that
hard.
they're. It's funny, they've had problems in a different way than Deacon and Raina ever did. There's a whole lot of trust issues back and forth with them, and they're both in a very glamorous business. This business we're in of country music, especially when they're exploding like the stars they are, that offers a lot of opportunities to be pulled apart. You're flying through space like Interstellar, literally like in that movie. It's hard to stay together. And I think Claire's journey, I've seen.
Movies.
What's that?
Have you seen the movie? Is incredible.
I know. That's why I dropped its name. Yeah, it's a really good movie, right?
If you haven't seen it, go see it. Sorry, I had to.
That's 2
Nobody
thumbs
paid
up.
me to say that. I swear.
Claire would say that, having played her uncle, I've been sort of there for some of these things, and she gives me advice that doesn't work, and I give her advice that doesn't work. Right, it eventually works, but she's just trying to stand up for herself. Her journey in the business started off with her basically hiding under a piano on stage because it all just came crashing down. Some of the characters sort of start very strong and are pushed through the hardest things in the world, and that's more Juliet's character. She was always just a force to be reckoned with. Claire started with Scarlett as a little more like that, and trying to find herself and trying to be able to sit in herself, and she's still on that exploration in very new and cool ways. All of these things, by the way, these characters are what is not new about the show. These characters are the characters you know and the characters you love. You're not going to go, wait, that's not Juliet. You're going to go, yeah, that's Juliet, but it's a new side of Juliet, a new perspective on Deacon that it maybe took a new writing team who came in and has done such amazing work on shows like 30-something and My So-Called Life and Once and Again. Marshall and Ed, they know how to write drama between humans, adults, and teens, clearly My So-Called Life. So it's really nice at this point, and we're very grateful to the writers that have been there all along, but it's so cool to have people that come in and go, what about this angle? And you're like, oh, yeah. And plus, we get to slow it all down and explore that.
Yes, our scenes get to breathe a lot more, which is incredible to explore as actors, because in those breaths and in those moments of silence is when you get to see the wheels turning and the decisions being made and the hesitation, and you get to go through that journey much more with the characters. It also explores our ability to memorize a lot more. I mean, I'm so grateful for my training on. I was on soaps for 8 years, and the other day I had a 2-page monologue, and I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't had to memorize anything like this in years.
I'm still the guy that gets to go, yep, nope. But she's right. The thing you said about the silences, that's everything. When you talk about chemistry, I think chemistry is found and proven in the silences. When Connie and I early work on the bridge or other things like that, there's just a moment where you stop talking and you're just looking at each other. I mean, she could tell you stories with a look. In real life, I mean, Hayden could shoot you a look. There was a whole scene in itself.
I'm seeing a story right now, Charles.
Juliet is the same way. Juliet, with just a look or just a silence, can say so much that it takes a lot of trust on the part of the writers to leave that space where they're not in that moment guiding the ship, because they're just for a second going, if we let it breathe, that we can trust them. They know these characters to fill that with something that will say all we want to say. And they're doing that. I've said it a couple times, but it just seems really true to me that it's like getting off of the highway, and we love being on the highway, and it's exciting driving at those high speeds, but taking an exit and just, let's take the back roads for a while. Let's try a little Route 66 action where you pull into a filling station just like Raina did, and you hear some old, deep roots country music just like Raina did. So that was a sort of a symbolic scene to open up this new, old season of Nashville.
I know. You know what I loved about it? It felt like season 1. It's back to its roots, which is about Nashville and music and relationships, and not so much jumping around between a lot of different characters, but really focusing on the characters and giving them the time, you know, to tell their own stories in scenes.
Yeah. It does have so much to do with the trust, though, too, especially coming in. You know, we have a large part of it a new team, you know, and the writers and Marshall and Ed, and that takes so much trust, not only on their part but on our part, and collaboration and working together. And I have to say, you know, it's really hard to jump in after 4 years. This is the fifth year.
But meanwhile, right beside them, and they've said, you're right here with us because it's your vision, is Callie Curry. So that's why you're smelling so much of that old familiar scent, or those old, you know, things. She has always been the sort of true north of the show. It's like when an airplane is flying from New York to LA, it's never really pointing at the city it's going to. It's always sort of correcting on its way like that. And I always felt whenever Callie wrote an episode or whenever she directed an episode, you could feel it sort of get even more, because these were her babies. She thought up not only the character Deacon, but the name, and that's a damn good name, Deacon Claiborne.
Absolutely, and I love that she always finds the humor in it, like those comedic moments that are so poignant and so important. So important. I mean, I love those moments. I think that
you get so many of the good ones. You get such great lines. Like in the middle of something really dark, she'll say something and go, "Oh my God, did she?" Juliet really say that. Those are the ones that kill me. And the whole writing team that was in these last 4 years, they wrote all those lines and they know how to write that for her. But Callie's always been one that can really make it sound like Deacon, or really sound.
And she reminds you. Yeah. She had to remind me the other day to bring back the comedy, and it didn't even cross my mind, and we did this scene, and you would be so, I'm constantly surprised at the talent of this cast and their ability to be funny too, because this is such a drama sometimes and you would never expect it, but they really grab those moments of comedy, and these actors are so funny. I mean, the looks on their faces, they're just the comic. I mean, you came from comedy, so you know all about it. You're.
But the thing that I always love about it.
Whose line is it anyway? Didn't you?
A little improvising, but we don't get to do much improvising. But they're always open to a moment. If you say something, I say.
Come on.
A bit. No, but if there's a line you think of and you try it on a run through, they might go, yeah.
He used to come in with printed lines in the first season. He would retype all of the dialogue, and he would come in with suggestions, and it was the cutest thing. And he would come in and be like,
that was one scene. You remember what that scene was about? It was one thing. I was just trying to make a point, is that Deacon and Juliet are in bed together, and it's the second episode, I think, and it was like,
don't remind
the original line was,
"Don't remind you." Was it bad?
Yeah, is that still troublesome to
You're
people?
not meant to be together.
We have to,
I'm
we have
that
to remind
damn old,
each
am
other
I? All
once in a
right.
while.
In any event, the line was something along the lines of, I guess we're good at something besides just writing songs together. And I felt like in that moment, these are two messed up people that are in this bed for the wrong reasons, and they both know it. So what we ended up saying is, she said, what are you thinking about? And I said, oh, I'm wondering how this keeps happening. And she said, well, that's easy. It's because I'm irresistible. And I said, I think that must be it. And that seemed like the most true version in that moment. I just guess just being around her, whatever they wrote before they knew who the characters were, but you learn who the characters are also. And I just, in that moment, really felt strongly that it was our brokenness that brought us together in that moment. And they explored the heck out of that in ways I loved. That's what really kept us sharing back and forth, was that, we could help each other through these things. And then I think Avery is a similar soul to Deacon in terms of being there for her. And so she found somebody that could be there for her all the time, and that's good.
Two best guys. We have to go to the audience Q&A, but before that, we haven't even talked about the music.
Isn't he good? I just want to do all my interviews
Right?
with
He's
him.
great.
I could just sit here and listen to him all day.
I am rocking this interview.
You are. I'm just sitting back, relaxing, and trying to make sure my hair doesn't come over.
Yeah. Well, if you were really rocking it, you would be
And making
singing
sure I
or
don't-
performing
Oh,
for us.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Wow. We need another deep.
Keep
okay?
going. No.
No, this,
Cut to him.
we need down the road. One thing you can, if you guys can get the show brought back, get another Deacon and Juliet duet somewhere down the line. We got to do another one of those. That would be fun. Undermine was a blast.
If he had a guitar, man, we could be on a street corner in front of a bus stop, and you'd be like, "You want to sing that song under mine?"
I love
You
singing that
would.
song. I would sing that song.
I think I got about 3 texts from you on the way here.
I'm always like, "Want to sing?" And she's like, "I got a sore throat."
I have terrible stage fright. You can't put me on.
Okay, well, we'll get it done. It'll happen.
I've done it at
You know what I
the
just-
Ryman and the Opera.
Oh, no, you've done it all.
I
She's
pulled it
done it
off
all.
a couple
She's done it.
times.
That's
And by the
amazing.
way,
I get terrified.
the thing that you don't understand when you're on the outside of all of this is that she's amazing. I remember we were doing one of the On the Record concerts. Was it the one at the Ryman or the no?
Yeah.
It was the one at the Ryman
Yeah.
was the first one, and look,
Buddy Miller and everybody.
yeah, that's part of strength, is to see somebody who's up there not super comfortable in that moment. It's the Ryman Auditorium, for God's sakes. This is the mother church of country music, and she has enough respect and intelligence to know that. And I see how nervous she is, and all I'm trying to do is say, "You so got this." And she
He
did have
coached
it.
me.
Did I?
Yeah. Did you remember I did the first it was I can't remember what song it was, but I was standing there holding onto the mic with 2 hands, and I was gripping it, and Chip's pacing in front of the stage and going, "Stop. Just move around. You got this."
That's right. It was on a mic stand. I said,
And I was like,
"You
no,
can't
no,
have
no."
Hayden Panettierre. You guys have all seen her on the show. Whenever she's Juliet's like, "I think you're dumb. I think it's time." I said, then
Do you know how hard that is to do
in high heels? Yeah.
in high heels and sing?
Well,
I had to do. I have the
so funny
Juliet
because
sidewalk. I did that pregnant down the stairs.
That's the side.
Give me some
like that, coming down like that. And by the way, that's the weirdest thing in the world. To think
in
about
sequence while mic'd. I got 2 mic packs on.
that. Does it all?
I got to go 10-1.
I'm wearing this. I'm wearing the same boots, and I can't do half of that. But apparently, I can. But the weird thing.
You should develop it. I
If they
think
say,
Deacon
"Ladies
should
and
develop
gentlemen,"
the
if they say,
sidewalk.
"Ladies and gentlemen, Juliet Barnes," she'll come out and be like, "Nah, and do it." Ladies and gentlemen, Hayden Panettierre, and it's like, oh. It's so, isn't it interesting? That
Well, it's like when you look at somebody even like Beyonce. She developed Sasha Fierce for a reason, because
true.
she needed an alter ego to go up there and to hide behind a little bit, where you don't have to show all of your raw
Yeah, I get that.
edges, where you can go up there and put yourself out there in your mind as a different person, not just as yourself out there to be judged by everybody. Because no matter what you do, there's always going to be somebody who doesn't like it.
Well, the way I
Always, no matter what you do. And that always gets the best of me.
Well, for me, when I went to Nashville, I suddenly, you quickly saw that we're going to be able to stand on stages like the Ryman and the Grand Ole Opry and sit in the Bluebird and play our music and play the show's music. And I knew that I was in over my head. You're jumping in the deep end. And I just made a decision that I'm not going to flirt around it like, oh, I don't know. I'm just going to make a binary decision to go say yes to everything they asked me to do, and then all I can do is my best. And if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. But
you're a guy. You guys can get away with so much more. Why is that? They
That's
can't.
a whole nother story, guys. That's a whole
But
other
they
story.
can.
Could be because
I
of
feel
my
like
alter ego, Deacon Fierce.
Deacon
Deacon
Fierce.
Fierce.
It's just up in here. Nobody else knows that.
All right, we only have time for about 2 audience questions. So does anyone have anything?
goodness.
Right here.
Hey guys, thank you for being here.
Hi.
Hey, hello.
Congrats on coming back to life. It's very exciting.
Thank you.
You don't hear that
Anytime.
question a lot, but thank you.
Yeah,
Excellent
right.
question.
Deacon Fierce, back to life.
Back to life. Over the course of the series, have there been any guest stars that you've gotten to work with that have stood out to you and you've enjoyed?
I got to work with Steven Tyler.
That was cool.
I got to record one of my favorite songs in the world with him, Crazy. And he actually told me later that he played it for Willie Nelson, who wrote that song. And I was like, Willie Nelson's heard my voice! Oh my God, I almost passed out right there. That was it. I can die a happy woman.
That wins. Having said that, I've been able to. One of my favorites is actually Mark Colley, who's been a country artist in his own right, and he and I are friends. He did Even the Man on the Moon Is Crying, and I was a fan. I actually met him years ago at a Tanya Tucker concert. He was opening for her. All these years later, we kept bumping into each other, and we ended up writing together. And as we're writing together, I get this tweet that they're looking for this character of Frankie. And it's a guy that is playing Deacon's sponsor in AA, and he's been through the whole addiction thing, and he's been through the whole artist thing, and he's just a couple years older than Deacon with just a few more lines and a few more miles on him. And I'm sitting there with this guy, and I'm like, hold on a second. I get up, I go, the guy's sitting right across from me. I'm writing a song with him. He's Mark Colley. He's acted before. So anyway, he got in, and he went in the next day, and he got that damn role, and he played Frankie. And getting to work with Mark and to do those scenes was a real joy. And he's a real buddy by now. We've written like 5, 6 different songs together, including, this is called a segue, including the song I'm releasing today, which is called Buckle Up. What's it called?
Buckle up!
Buckle up, Mr. Mark Colley, and I love that guy.
What about Elton John?
Is he? Oh,
I walked
there.
in. I could not believe that Sam got to record and play with him. I was like, Christina Aguilera. I got to work with, which that was one of the cool characters that she got to come on and not just play herself. She played a character, and I got to tell her off. And then she came and helped me out on a lip sync battle.
And Will Chase got to sing with Sarah Evans, a duet. And,
love her.
And Vince Gill has been there from the very beginning. Vince Gill is like the honorary mayor of Nashville. You won't find a bigger heart. You will not find a better voice or a better guitar player.
I saw him for the first time at the first time I ever heard him was Bluebird Cafe.
Oh man,
Unbelievable.
That. Yeah, he's.
If you guys ever come to Nashville, you must go to Bluebird Cafe. It is
And you should
unbelievable
probably-
going there and
You should
listening
probably
to
get
the
your
writers behind
reservations
the
before
song.
you even plan your
Yeah,
trip.
well, yeah.
But
Or
you'll get in. Keep.
Bust a move, throw
Anyway.
an elbow.
I can't even imagine seeing Vince there. He's like
Go in the back door.
everything. Yeah.
Well, these two, they're like Nashville tourism. They're here for Nashville tourism, as well as their voice coach and casting directors. And you guys, we are so happy that Nashville is back for real. If you guys,
are too.
If you guys
Thank
are happy,
you,
you better
guys.
watch the show tonight. It
Thank you
premieres
so much.
at 9 p.m. on CMT. So make sure to watch it. Thank you guys for being here.